English Medium Accounting, Ruwan Weerage. Online classes, www.accz.lk.
Right. Liabilities. Right now. Simply my liability means obligations, right? Like payable things. Right? Payable things, right? As an example, I'll teach you what? Bank loans. Clear the bank loans, right? Let's think bank loans. Right. Today, business has amount, bank loan amount, right? Today we have bank loan to pay around 1 million, right? 1 million, right? So simply we call, right, obligation. Business has obligations to pay, right? Given the owner, right? Obligations, right? So there are three criteria to identify this one as a liability, right? First one same as previous assets. This is me as a result of, right? So I'll write down obtain the bank loan, obtain the bank loan uh 5 months ago, 5 months ago. Okay, 5 months ago. That's why business now they has, oh sorry, they have a loan, right? Bank loan, right? 5 months ago. Next one, I mean business has present obligations. Mean today business has business has an obligation. Business has an obligations to pay. Clear, right? Business has an obligation. Okay, so next one lamai then in future, next one lamai when settling the obligation, when settling the obligations, resources, business resources will outflow from the business. Business resources will outflow from the business. Outflow means what? And when settling means bank loan, right? When paying bank loans, our cashes, whatever, but our cashes will outflow from the business. Cash outflow. Clear? Right? Cash outflow from the business. Right? There are three criteria. On the first one, I may previously obtain. That may first one as a result of past transaction, past event. I'll write down past event. Event means simply same as transaction. Wait, business has second one, present obligation. Business has present obligations. Clear the wait, third point, when settling, resources will outflow. Resources will outflow from the business. Clear the right. Anyone can tell me another example for liabilities? Right, electricity payables, right? Electricity payable given the electricity payables, right? And rent payables, right? Water payables, insurance payable, any expense payables, right? Like that. There are so many liabilities, right? First of all, please write down this one in your book. Huh? Then we got discussed examples. Right. So page number 5, write down examples. Page number 5. First one, my bank loan. Bank loan. Right. Page number 5 on the liabilities. First one, bank loan. Right. Bank loan. Next one. Right. Next one. There are a lot of special examples, but I'll explain later. Right. First of all, write down bank overdraft. I will explain bank overdraft. Right, bank overdraft means simply if you want to write down small bank loans, right? Right, small bank loans. Clear? The small bank loans, right? Some check related transactions, right? If you want to do transactions through checks, right, you can obtain small loan from banks, so we call it bank overdraft, right? Right, you can learn in detail later, right? A bank overdraft. So another one, expenses payable, right? Payable, what? Expenses, payable expenses, right? Not given the electricity is, right, rent payables. Next one, advances given, advances given, right? Next, advances given. Another one, uh, income received in advance, income received in advance, right? Income, any income received in advance, calling humble, right? I'll explain, no? Another one, income tax, income tax payable, right? Tax payable to government, right? You can understand it, right? Liability, income tax payable. Examples, income tax payable. Another one, lamai, trade creditor, trade creditor, trade creditor. Oh, another word, lamai, trade payables. I'll explain, no? Trade payable. Understand? Trade payable. Trade credit. Separately, expenses payable. Payable expenses. Right? So we call this one, lamai, another word, accrued expenses. Accrued. Both lamai same. Huh? Accrued expenses. Clear? Accrued expenses. Simply, accrued expense or payable expenses means, like, let's think business. Me, this is the business, and here think, let's think electricity board. Right? Electricity board. Right? Electricity board. Right? Electricity board. So, I think for the January month, 10,000 electricity is I still haven't paid. 10,000 electricity. Electricities bill. Right? Not yet paid. Clear? Not yet paid. Therefore, right, this one we call what? Liability. We call the liability name what? Accrued electricity bill. Natham electricity payable. Me electricity payable. Right? Understand? Electricity payable. Rent payable. Clear? Rent payable, electricity payable, insurance payable, any expense payable, we call what? Accrued interest, accrued electricity, accrued rent, or electricity payable, rent payable. Like, understand the, right? Clear? Write down. Right? Advances given. Right? Fourth one. Advances given. Oh no, it should be not advances given. I think advances given asset or liability asset. Provide last session I did neither. No, it should be advance received. It should be advance received. Please correct it as advance received, not advance given. It should be advance received. Right? Hadagan advance received till hadagan. advance received, right? Let's think this is the business, here's the customer, right? Here's the customer, right? Here's the customer. So let's think from customer, right? Cash received, right? 100,000 received as an advance, right? As an advance, 100,000 received, right? So, and customer informed after, right, within 1 month, right? Within 1 month, within 1 month, clear? Within 1 month, right? Products, provide products, products. Business has to provide products within 1 month. Advance received. Then business has obligation. Yes. What's the obligation here? මොකද්ද මෙතන obligation එක වෙන්නේ? Can you tell me the obligation here? Right? Customer paid some amount and business has to provide me. Business has an obligation to send. Obligation. Obligation to send goods. Clear? Obligation to send goods. Obligation to send goods. Understand? Therefore, this is what? A liability. Right? Liability. We call this one advance. What's the liability name? Advance received. Right? Word නෙමෙයි. Always keep in mind my meaning. No? Advance received means cash received, but we have to provide benefits, right? Goods. Therefore, liability. Business has an obligation. Clear? අන්න එහෙම මතක තියාගන්න. හරිද? Right. Income, right? Me. Income received in advance. Clear? So let's think here's the business, and there's a person who obtained the building, right? Right. Obtain the building person. So let's think rent a building, right, from the business. Therefore, that this person lamai paid rent, right? Then our rent income, uh, next 3 months, right? Next 3 months income, right? Received in advance, right? Next 3 months rent income we already received, right? Let's think monthly rent income 10,000, right? Next 3 months how much? Right? 30,000. 30,000. Therefore, me this rent income now received in advance. Rent income in advance. Rent income received in advance. Right? What's the obligation here? Here obligation will be lamai then, right, next 3 months lamai we have to provide the building, right? We have to provide the benefits. Rent facility we have to provide. Understand? That's the obligation. Me, what's the obligation here? What's the obligation? Me, business has to provide what? Rent facility. Rent facility for next 3 months. Clear? For next 3 months we have to provide rent facility. Right? Me has to provide rent facility for next 3 months. For next 3 months. Understand? For next 3 months. Alright, write down. Understand, right? Any income received in advance calling hum, we have an obligation. We have to provide the related benefits. Relevant benefits. Trade creditor. Trade creditor. Let's think. Now business lamai. I mean here, right? On right. This is my supply, right? This is the supply, right? So business has listing purchase goods from supplier. Purchase. But lamai still not yet paid, right? Me not yet paid on credit basis. On credit killayane, right? Not yet paid, right? Not paid, right? On credit basis. Understand the on credit. Therefore, right, listing business purchase around 100,000 goods. But we have to pay me payable how much? Payable amount how much? 100,000. 100,000 should be payable to supplier, right? Payable to supplier. Therefore, we call this one my what? Me trade. Then purchase for my resale purpose. Me purchase for resale. Understand? Right? In vegetable shop, purchase vegetable on credit basis. Right? In car sale, purchase cars for resale purpose. Right? We couldn't on credit. Therefore, payable things we call what? Trade. Me payable. We call payable to what? Supplier. Understand the payable to supplier, right? Trade we call creditor, or other word trade payable, right? Trade payable. Clear? Right? Understand? This is the one, right? Understand? Right? Are we payable amount to suppliers? Trade creditors or trade payables, both are same, right? දෙකම එකයි ඕන එක ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Clear නේද? Let's write down. Divide into two parts. Liabilities. We can divide into two parts, right? First one, if you hope to settle the liabilities within 1 year, we call them based on the obligations period, right? If you settle liabilities within 1 year, we call it what? Current liabilities. Understand? Current liabilities. Clear the current liabilities, right? If you hope to settle the liabilities more than 1 year, right? We call it non-current liability, right? Non-current liability. What do you think? Right? Then here bank loan lamai what? Current liability or non-current liability? Bank loan we have to settle within, like, that normally bank loans obtained for 5 years, 6 years, right? Long term periods, right? Businesses. Therefore, first one what? Non-current liabilities. Make bank loans lamai non-current liability. NCL කියන්නේ what? Non-current liability short word. Non-current liability short form. Right? CL කියන්නේ current liabilities. Then these are what? Overdraft, small banks loan overdraft you have to settle within 1 month, 2 months. Current liabilities. Then all the things right? Payable expenses, electricity you have to settle, right? Within next 2 months, 3 months. Advance receipt within 1 month, 2 months, you have to send goods to customers. Income receipt, right? For next 2 months, 3 months, rent income receipt, like you have to provide benefits. Income tax payable, you have to pay within 1 month, 2 months, right? To supply payable balance, you have to settle immediately. Right? Those are current liabilities. Understood? So, right. What is the meaning of equity? Equity means simply, right? I'll explain through a transaction, right? Right. Look at this is the owner, right? This is the owner, and owner has 400,000 cash, right? 400,000 cash. So that owner wants to purchase a motor vehicle purchase a motor vehicle around, MV means motor vehicle, around 1 million. Clear? The 1 million motor vehicle, right? There are 6 zeros, right? 1 million motor vehicle. Page number 6. Is there blank? Blank? What's the blank? There are no any blanks. Page number 6, what? Blanks, Daniel. Right, let's see. So, please tell me, this owner lamai enough to purchase this motor vehicle? Cash. He has enough cash to purchase motor vehicle. Yes or no? No, Nick. How much? How much the value? They don't have. Right? He required how much? 600,000. So how can we find this 600,000 from where? How can we finance this 600,000? How can I find out? කොහෙන්ද හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන්න බෑ. 600,000. What? Find through what? කොහෙන්ද ගන්න පුළුවන් 600,000? Right? You can obtain what? A loan. Right? You can get a bank loan. You can obtain a bank loan. Understand? You can obtain a bank loan. Clear? You can obtain a bank loan. Understand? Bank loan. Therefore, all together owner's amount and both lama you can purchase what? Motor vehicle. Therefore, here bank loan means what lama? Simply liability. 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 Understand? So motor vehicle means what? This is the asset. This is the asset. Clear? Therefore, what is the ownership of owner regarding this motor vehicle? Ownership of owners how much? 400,000. And therefore, we call this one what? Equity. Equity. Right? Equity means simply what? Ownership of owners. Clear? Ownership of owner. Right? Simply equity means what? Ownership of owners. Therefore, from using this one, we can create an equation. Right? Look at me. 1 million. Right? How much? 1 million asset equals what? 400,000 or 600,000 bank loan plus 400,000 owner's amount. Clear? Therefore, this is what? Asset. This is what? Liability. This is what? Owner's ownership. Equity. Right on. Equity. Understand? So we call this one what? Accounting equation. This is a basement for accounting subject. Right? Right? What's the accounting equation? Assets equals liability plus equity. Liability means external funds. Equity means internal funds. Owners values. Owners amounts. Understood? The right? Clear? Right? Clear? Right. So first of all, write down this one on your in your tudes. In your share book. First of all, write down account equation. So then in all levels, do you remember if you want to identify x, a equals x plus y. So if you want to get this plus y to next side, it becomes what? Minus. Therefore, you can identify equity like this. You can transfer liability to the other side. Therefore, if you want to identify equity, we call it what? Asset minus liability. Right now, then you can get what? Equity. Owner's amounts. So make minus. So assets minus liability. So we can, there are another word I call this one what? Net assets. Net asset. Net means deductions. Because of the deductions, we call for net asset. Assets minus liability. Not assets. Same word for equity. Yeah? net asset කියලා කියනවා. Right? Same. Net asset. Clear? Net asset. There are 4 transactions impact on owner's equity. Right? There are 4 transactions impact on equity. Right? First one, did you remember our business entity concept? Business and the owner. Right? Independent party when owner provides resources to the business. Right? Right? Owner can provide his personal resources to the business. We call it what? අපි මොකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඒකට? I explained, right? ඒක කියලා දුන්නා නේද මම? Owner provide his personal cash, motor vehicle, personal furnitures. Right? All the things provide for the business use. Therefore, we call it what? Capital investment. Right, me? We call it capital investment. Capital. Right? So, when providing capital, what happened to the owner's ownership? Owner's ownership increase. Me? Capital investment. Understand? Capital. Capital means owner provide his personal resources to the business. Owner's ownership gradually increase. Clear? Next one. Owner can withdraw business resources. Business resources for his personal use. Clear? For his personal use. Right? For his personal use. So we call it, what we call it? We call it my drawings. Right? Drawings. Right? Owner's ownership my decrease. Owner getting business resources for his personal use. Owner ගෙදර යනවා. අපි හිතමු මොකද කියන්නේ? සල්ලි අඩු වෙනවා. මේ owner's ownership decrease, not expense. මේ drawings. Right? Owner's ownership decreased. Understand? Owner's transactions. Right? Owner provides capital, increase ownership. Owner withdraws, we call drawings. Decrease. And also another 2 examples like income. When earning incomes, right, benefits increases, the owner's ownership increase. And expenses paid, when paying expenses, when incurred expenses, what? Owner's benefits decreased. Owner's ownership decreased. Clear? They are very important. Right? These 4 transactions impact to change the owner's equity. Right? So normally, right, one thing, to how to calculate my profit here? Income expense. I mean profit calculated by using income and expenses. Right? Right? Therefore, impact to calculate income profit you have to consider only income and expense out of these 4. But by these 2, capital and drawings won't consider to calculate profit, not impact on profit, only consider income and expenses. Clear? Drawings expense not an expense, right? Capital not income, right? Just transactions, right? Owner's transaction. But income and expense calculate profit, right? Owner's transaction. Understand? Right? They are very important, right? Then sometimes questions, there will be questions like this: what are the transactions impact to increase equity? Mean capital and incomes both. Right? What are the transactions decrease the equity? Drawings and expense. Right? Questions. What are the transactions will not impact to calculate profit? Well, capital and drawings. Impact to calculate profit, income and expense. Right? There are so many questions they can create. Okay, though. Right.